We're back to learn Torah Hashem Tamima. Torah Hashem Tamima. You should be taunting that you can have this list to learn Torah. Okay, we're going to just go through quickly the sheet of Chazara of the Mefarshim. Starting with number 2. Number 1 is know the entire Gemara inside well, from Chafei and Aleph 10 lines up until Chafei Base 6 lines up, from when the lines get big, which is exactly the Gemara that I just recorded for you and you just learned and hopefully you know perfectly. Number 2. Does the Gemara's answer to why we need Mafricha Yonim and Mesachim Bekuvia, both examples in our Mishnah, work with Rav Sheshis in our Mishnah? And how would we explain that the Gemara is not like him if we paskin like him? Remember, Rav Sheshis in our Mishnah said that the problem with gambling is Ein B'Yeshiva Sha'olam, if that's your only parnasa, you don't know how the world works. The whole answer of our Gemara that you hopefully know by now and understand, you can only understand this question if you understand the Gemara, deals with different levels of a smachta, of why we need both Mefricha Yom and Mesach Kuvya, because of levels of a smachta. Not only we should work with the opinion that holds the problem of gambling as a smachta. If the problem is Ein Yeshiva Sha'olam, it doesn't make sense to be discussing a smachta. So the Ran says it doesn't work with Rav Sheshis. However, the problem is we paskin like Rav Sheshis. So how's our Gemara discussing a whole interaction if we don't paskin about like a smachta? So we'd have to explain because Rav Sheshis actually holds the problem of Mafricha Yonim is a ara. The whole Gemara is just analyzing according to the opinion of Itika Mech Yonech Leon, of pigeon racing. So there, that opinion can hold like a smachta, which is not how we actually paskin. But Rav Sheshis hold the problem of Mafricha Yonim is ara. So then it all works beautifully, and this Gemara is just analyzing a different opinion and not the opinion of Rav Sheshis. And that's why it could go like a smachta in our Mishnah. Next question on the Gemara sheet. Number 3. Why do all these people need such intense tshuva to do things above and beyond they really are allowed to do? They have to obliterate. So he said, because we have to learn to trust them, to be an aid, to be a dayan, to be a witness, to be a judge. Rabbi Nishal maybe already mechaper their sins, gave them atonement. Maybe they really, in their hearts, left. We have to go above and beyond because society can't accept them until we really know they're trustworthy. Maybe they're fooling us. Number 4. How can we understand Shemar and Yoinim with pigeon racing, with Itkan Mech Yonech Liyom? See, Rashi said, when the Brisa says Mafricha Yonim Be'elu Shemar and Yoinim, Rashi says it's pigeon fighting. Oh, we said in the Mishnah it's pigeon racing. So there we said, perhaps you could explain, and this is the first answer to this question, even according to Rashi, that ultimately they're both forms of gambling with pigeons. So it really doesn't make a difference whether we're talking about racing or we're talking about fighting. It's just 2 examples of gambling with pigeons. However, other Mefarshim, if you look on the Hagah on the side of the Gemara, says Shemarim Sayonim is not pigeon fighting, but Shemarim is Lashon Marim, to Moira, is to teach. And you're teaching the pigeons to race. It's really also referring to It Kamech Leonech Leon. It's just a different way of saying it. So really they do work beautifully together. It's the same exact pshat. Number 5, how does Ara fit with this? According to the Brisa, it's Shemar and Sayonim. Ara has to fit with that also. The Cohen. What does the Cohen have to do? Marim, whether it's fighting or whether it's racing. So Ara would say the only reason, Ara would say, yes, ultimately you're going to come to fight your pigeons or to raise your pigeons. But the problem is that the way you get them is that you do Ara, you decoy. So Ara is the initial step in order to get your pigeons to fight or to race. And that's how it's connected to this Brisa. When the Brisa Shemar and Zayonim, the real issue is how you're getting them to fight, or how you're getting them to race, which is through decoy. That's number 5. Number 6. How does, this one we already explained when I read through the Gemara, but how does the tshuva of Afilu Bamidbar work with pigeon betting? If the problem is with pigeon betting, racing, fighting, who cares if you do that, if you don't, you even stop doing that in the desert? It doesn't really make, in the desert, the issue is, would fulfill a tshuva of Ara. Ara, you're decoying, they really should be allowed to decoy from the desert where the animals are hefker, where the pigeons are hefker. So say, even by midbar, even in the desert, you don't do Ara. Pigeon racing, pigeon betting, pigeon fighting. So who cares if you also don't do that in the midbar? That's the same as doing it on your street or in your home. So Rashi explained you have to change the girsa, you have to change the text. The text should not be afilu b'midbar, but for that opinion it should be afilu b'chinam lo'avi, that you don't even race or fight for free, for fun, like we said by Mesachik B'Kuvya. Number 7. Explain 2 differences if you call an animal a behema or a chaya. So first of all, as far as chaylev goes, chaylev is fat, which is usher to eat in a chaya. But if it's a behema, it's mutter to eat. So if shara bar is behema, you're allowed to eat this chaylev. If it's a chaya, you're not. Second is whether you need kisei adam to cover the blood after you shecht it. By a chaya, you have to cover the blood, like by a bird. By a behema, you don't. If you call a behema, you don't have to do kisei adam. Those are two practical differences: kisei adam or chaylev. Number 8. Why do we rip up the shtar of the malva? Doesn't he need to collect keren? So he said there are two opinions. The Ran says once he is willing to lend money with interest, we have a knas of a penalty, he's not allowed to collect anything. Tough. He can't collect his whole loan because he tried to do something that's aser. You rip up the shtar, he loses out completely. The Rush says you rip up the shtar, that's a slight penalty, but he still could collect balpeh as if it's an oral loan, which he's still allowed to collect the money. He just has to do that balpeh, and he doesn't have the strength of the shtar, but he's still allowed to collect his loan. That's the Rush. That's the final question in Mefarshim. Hatzlach Rabba, learn Torah because you love it. Looking forward to seeing you guys and to seeing you guys do beautifully, because if you learn Torah because you love it, you're going to know it well. Love you guys.